while we listen to it. I'm your host, Tucker, and today we're reviewing California All-Pop Phenom Wallows' 5th major release and 3rd full-length LP, Model. This record comes after the success of 2019's Nothing Happens and 2022's Tell Me That It's Over, following a year of touring for the latter. Wallows has always had a special place in my heart. First hearing Are You Born Yet in 2019. Dreamy, hooky, and distinctive single for their 2019 album Nothing Happens, featuring indie star Clara. That's why I was hoping this record would be amazing. Partially due to the lead-up Model, which was fantastically marketed by the band, and after Tell Me That It's Over, which is one of my top 5 albums of all time for me. And that's a review for another day, though, and I will do that soon. Needless to say, Dylan Ned, Braden LeMasters, and Cole Preston both succeeded and failed at the same time. Let's get into it. It's a lot to talk about. First, let's talk album direction. Both of Wallows' past releases had distinctive sounds and styles. Nothing Happens being a post-punk bright record of the transition between adolescence and adulthood and the relationships that populated. It conveyed a sense of nostalgia, but also hope for the future, and it was very of the times. 2019, Tell Me That It's Over, released in 2022, steeped into carefree 80s, synthesizer-filled indie tracks, seemed to focus on the other personal relationship. Side note, I also feel like this album was really happy and bright, and a lot of the style came from, we needed that during the pandemic. I mean, they had already put out some fun, more electronic stuff for Remote, which is also a favorite release of mine, but I prefer Tell Me That It's Over, and I think most people do. Let's keep going. But each also contained killer aesthetics and vibes, as I said, something that Wallows has always succeeded in. Models seem to veer away from indie and toward alt-pop, summery, radio-friendly tracks. It's hard to point out a theme, but in my opinion it sounds like a bittersweet end or beginning to a relationship. Not that that's bad, but I feel like it didn't really have the originality that all the other releases had. We'll get into that in a second. But let's move on to the songs themselves. They released a total of 5 singles for the 12-song record, being Your Apartment, 1st song, Calling After Me, the 3rd song, Bad Dream, 4th song, A Warning, the 5th song, and You Show Me Where My Days Went, which is the 7th song. Wallows did a similar thing for their past album, in the case of 4 singles, being I Don't Want to Talk, Especially You, At the End of the Day, and Marvelous. I think those were the singles. But I feel in this case it detracts from the album's quality, because I didn't even know that those were singles in the past album, because I didn't really pay attention to it until the album actually came out. But in this case, I feel like it detracts from the album's quality, takes the suspense out of the record upon the first listen, especially since a lot of the songs sound very similar, which I'll get to in a second. But nevertheless, there was actually a lot of songs I enjoyed. Your Apartment is a really good beginning for the album. Galloping drum beat by Cole, and the lyrics and vocals were great by Dylan. Very serious song. It's hard to tell when it's upbeat. I mean, it is an upbeat, but it also sounds very, as I said a few seconds ago, bittersweet. Nevertheless, there were actually a lot of songs I enjoyed. But A Warning is a chill, deep, Twilight-sounding track also sung by Dylan. And Don't You Think It's Strange is a perfect blend of funky and soulful with nice vocals by Braden. If you don't know that in Wallows, all 3 of them, they've all sung at some point, mostly Dylan and Braden. But Cole, the drummer, has sung, I believe, 3 times now after this one. And of course, finally, you can't forget Wallows' signature, almost cinematic album closers, usually upwards of 4, 5, 6 minutes long. In this case, it's only Ecstasy. In my opinion, I prefer Do Not Wait, Guitar Romantic Search Adventure better, but you can have your own opinion on that. It really just goes up to personal belief. But I did have one more problem with this record, and it's how repetitive it is. Most of the songs are love ballads, and that's not particularly a problem. But most sound the same, quietish quality, and I found it a bit dry after. And I feel like it very detracts from itself in the second half of the album, particularly in the tracks like She's an Actress, Canada, and Going Under. I feel like those are very boring songs in my opinion. I feel like they could have made it a lot better. I saw somewhere that they, in an interview that they recorded 25 songs for the album. Who knows what they could have been if they were good or not. Like, petition, I'm starting right now to release them as an unreleased cut, director's cut sort of thing. But additionally, most of the songs are sung by Dylan, which isn't necessarily a problem, but compared to their last two albums, I feel like it detracts from the album's quality, having less variety. As I said, I think that's the album's biggest problem, is that it just really doesn't have as much variety and like distinctive sound to tell me that it's over and nothing happens to it. And I wish they'd utilized Braden's vocals a little bit more. We do hear Cole once for his first appearance in an album, and I wouldn't mind. He has appeared on Remote EP twice before, on their deluxe tracks On Time and Quarterback. So overall, Model is a fine record that's an easy, fun listen if you like alt pop, but try not to deeper into it. I would go to say that it's the weakest collective sound of their releases and Wallows' weakest album so far. Its lack of originality is a problem for me, that I didn't have a bad time listening to it, and I feel like it's been 2 years, and it's actually aged quite well. What brings it up is its overall aesthetic, its few really good tracks, and its aging over time. For these reasons, I'm rating it a 7 out of 10. I hope you like listening to this with me, and I hope you listen to the album yourself and make your own conclusions on it. Thank you for watching this video. Happy listening, and thanks for watching. This was On the Record with me. I just wanted to let anybody know that was wondering, I am fully changing my channel to a music review channel, and this first couple of reviews I'm doing are going to be of the Wallows discography. Model was the first one, not particularly doing it in chronological order, but the order that I feel like Model was the first one I had inspiration for, so thanks for watching.